Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I let it give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, and peace and blessings unto the elect. All right, so this is actually my second attempt doing this video. I don't know what happened. I did a mic check before I did the actual video, so I don't know what happened, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. But so hopefully this is edifying too to you brothers and sisters. So this was from earlier camp, today's camp, well, yesterday's camp. And me and this Jake right here, we was arguing the point of Deuteronomy 28 verse 68, specifically dealing with the latter end of the verse, which says you will be sold into slavery for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Right? That's the point that we were arguing, right? And as I explained to him, because we was going back and forth over mainly over what the Hebrew says for the word buy, right? Because as we know in the blue letter, you can have different definitions and meanings and different words for a word. So how then do we come to the conclusion of what an actual word mean in its context, right? The context in which the word is being utilized, which I explained to him, right? Because context will supersede etymology over time. Every single time, context will supersede etymology, which I have examples of that, right? For example, concerning the word red and ruddy in regards to Esau, when we go here to Genesis 25 and 25, which this is a controversial verse when it comes on to the depiction of Esau, right? Genesis 25 and 25, it says, and the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, right? So you have different definitions, different words, different shades for the word red. So then how do we come to the conclusion that Esau is the red man, right? Red like a stop sign, red like a tomato. How do we know this? Because of how the word red is being used and being referenced to, and it's being referenced in this context like an hairy garment. Now let's see the first time an hairy garment is being utilized or being referenced to in the scriptures. This is the book of Exodus 26 and verse 14. It says, and thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram skin, right? Ram skin covering for the tent of ram skin dyed red, and a covering above badger skins. Now this is the first time a hairy garment is being referenced to in the Bible after Genesis chapter 25. Now let's see how this red look. And this is it right here. See, the ram skin dyed red, a hairy garment, right? And this red came from, this is Kermit's dye that came from the blood of worms in the so-called Middle East. So this is how we know that this red is talking about this red in Genesis 25, because of how the word is being utilized in its context. Okay, I hope you brothers and sisters understand what I'm saying. So now, and just remember that context, how a word is being utilized, the context of it is going to supersede etymology every time. You can have, that's how we can pinpoint with accuracy how the definition of a word by how it's being used in a verse. And that's what I was explaining to him. So let me go ahead and play it and play this video a little bit. What it say?
Right here. A whole different Hebrew word. Ka'ah.
Okay.
Ka'ah. I want to show you something.
Yeah, so I wanted to go to, we went to Micah 4 and 10 because in that verse it has the word redeem, and I thought that the Hebrew word would have been Qanah, but it wasn't, you know.
Right here in the Hebrew. This word right here. Okay, it's a phrase actually. This is, and you can look it up when you get home. Don't take my word for it. Wahit makatapa. Okay, so the root word here is these three letters. The maim kaf resh. Now, if that was in the text, then when it says, "Oh, you will be sold into slavery," that would make sense. Here's the problem.
But it did say that. It did said that we were sold into slavery, or the Israelites were sold into slavery. Let's go ahead and get it. It said that. This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. So if you were sold, that means that there was a buyer. That means that somebody purchased you if you were sold. It says, and there, which I gave the analogy to him. If I said I just sold this Xbox, yeah, bro, I just sold it. That means what? Somebody bought it. There was a buyer for the Xbox. Same rules apply. That can be applicable to what I said for Deuteronomy 28. It says, and there ye shall be sold. That means that the Israelites were bought unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, which is redeemed, which means to be bought back. All right, to be ransomed. Okay, which I have a precept that backs up the claim.
It's inside of a hit by L stem in Hebrew, meaning it doesn't mean you'll be sold. It means that you will sell yourself,
which is dumb.
That we will sell ourselves.
Yeah, so now it makes sense when you put it in the text correctly.
Which this isn't a new argument, right? We heard this argument back in 2019. You know, Vocab Malone, Eric Mason. That's how I knew to, you know, cut it, right? Because I done already heard this before, and we done already went over this before. Now it's been a while because this was my first time personally myself. I'm defending this. You know, I've heard. You know, at the time, my leaders, you know, Alazar, chief priest Alazar, deacon Hakah, Hassad, you know, they went over this in videos and whatnot because, you know, Vocab Malone and them, which that's who we probably watched. Eric Mason, Vocab Malone, Dr. James White. Not 100% too sure, not trying to bear false witness on him, but more than likely, that's who he watched because that's who's known, you know, that's who, you know, consistently come against the Israelite doctrine, so to speak.
Then you will sell yourselves into slavery, but no one will buy you. Now, why does it make sense? Because in Leviticus chapter 26, and I'm gonna paraphrase this, and you can look it up. In Leviticus 26, when a Hebrew man, I'm gonna put it in my vernacular, when he couldn't have enough money to pay the bills, he could sell himself into slavery so he could pay the bills. But this is a curse. God is telling them this curse is so bad, you're gonna try to sell yourself, but nobody's going to buy you. Therefore, this has nothing to do with blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans.
But again, that doesn't make sense because the verse clearly states that the Israelites were sold. And again, if I say, bro, I just sold this, that means that it was bought. So that means that the Israelites were bought or purchased.
But now you got a problem because your King James is saying different. He's saying, yeah, y'all gonna be sold, but then ain't nobody gonna buy you.
It's not because, like I said, context supersedes etymology every time.
Okay, so when we looked at the word,
see that context will supersede etymology every time.
Did you see redeem for Deuteronomy 28 under there? Did you see that word?
Yeah.
One more time, I'm gonna get out your head. Words here that can be used.
Okay.
But you're using this one word.
Because bro, logically, and using context, that's what makes sense. Like, for example, if we go to any other definition in the Bible for a word, right? And you're trying to make sense out of what the verse is saying, you're going to pick the word that logically makes the most sense within the context.
Yep. Because that's what matters. The context. You always hear us talking about context. Context is very important when reading the Bible, so that we can get the correct understanding of what scriptures is saying. Right? So again, Deuteronomy 28 verse 68, and I'm gonna grab a precept that correlates with this, that utilize the word redeem, that has the same Hebrew word for redeem, right? And is utilized in the same context as Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. Right? And this is not the only verse we can use or go to prove that we're the Israelites. A matter of fact, if y'all want, I'll do videos outside of Deuteronomy 28 to prove that we're Israelites. Right? So it says, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. You will be sold. That means that there was a buyer. For bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Meaning that no man will redeem us or liberate us from the hand of our enemies, unless the Heavenly Father sanctions it. Because we had plenty of leaders from various 12 tribes, really dealing with Judah, Benjamin, Ephraim, Levi. I said Ephraim already, I believe. Right, Issachar, right? Right? They don't try to rise up, mainly Judah, right? They try to rise up and free our people, but the Heavenly Father didn't send them. That's why. So that's what buy means. Now, how do we prove that? Let's go to Nehemiah 5 and 8. And I said unto them, we, after our ability, have redeemed our brethren, the Jews, which were sold unto the heathen. See that? And let's go into that word for redeem. Qanah, the same Hebrew word that's in Deuteronomy 28, verses 2. All right, it says redeem. All right, redeem. By so in Deuteronomy 28 verse 68, it says buy, and in Nehemiah and it's the Hebrew word Qanah. Now fast forward to Nehemiah 5 and 8, the word redeem is the same Hebrew word for buy. It's the same Hebrew word Qanah, right? Which when you go into the etymology of the word redeem, it says to buy back, ransom. See, buy back, ransom. All right, or rescue, deliver, save. See that? So that's what it's going into. No man will rescue you. No man will deliver you or save you. See? Save you out of the hand of your enemies. That's what that's talking about. Oh my goodness. All praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Which shout out to my esteemed colleague that I got this from. Right? Let's read that again. And I said unto them, we, after our ability, have redeemed our brethren the Jews, which was sold unto the heathen. See that? So our brothers brought us back, or rescued, or delivered us from the hand of the heathen, which we were sold to. You see what I'm saying? So that's what that's going into in its proper context. Remember, context supersedes etymology every time. All right, so Yahweh Tazah, you brothers and sisters were edified. No need to make this a long video. Hopefully, y'all learned something from this. With that being said, Shalom.